Hey everybody, JuanBond back here in the Draft Manager studio once again in Maplewood, Minnesota. We're going to cover the Arnold Palmer Invitational this week, taking place at Bay Hill, just outside of Orlando. So this went well last week. We made a little lineup in here real quick, and I wasn't prepared to make the lineup. It was just I was going to do it, but I didn't know where I was going to go. But I liked it so much as I was making it. I stayed with it, and I was winning quite a bit on Sunday before Tommy Fleetwood teed off, and right before, Billy Horschel slowly I watched it disappear as Billy Horschel played terribly, but the lineup went 6 for 6. Was about 3.5 times my investment, so that's a win any week. So yeah, we're gonna do it again this week. I'm gonna make a more GPP center lineup, and I also have a core four for our subs at Draft Manager. In an article definitely tomorrow, hopefully tonight yet. And the lineup this week, this is a good week. There's a lot to like this week. But once again, this is just like the Honda. It's kind of a tough course, which we'll go over the course again when we start. Kind of a tough course, and you want to be precise, and it comes down to a putting contest for the most part. So, we're gonna keep that lineup kind of a GPP, and then let me plug the MLB again real quick too. We do have our early birds all set and going, and you get the whole year season worth content for $149. All the tools and projections come with that. There's a home run detector. There's all sorts of great fun tools that are just going to help you get better. But to me, the ability to add on the optimizer for $50 for the season is just, it's worth it right there. So I would take advantage of that. You got me, Joe Metz, Brian Tulick, Matt Rogers, Adam Stranges. You got the whole old fan-sided fantasy CPR crew, writers that wrote all your free baseball articles over the years that you read. Plus Adam's, Adam and Joe both were at Roto Curve this past year. I was at Wise Take, helped out with cash games with MLB there last year, and did their golf podcast with my boy Brew Medic. If he's watching this, what's up, buddy? But yeah, anyway, that's it. Get in on that. Let's jump right into the Arnold Palmer. I'm going to cover the course real quick first. Again, this is smartgolfbets.com. Tournament sheets. Click on the APIV. Click on the course. You'll see what I'm looking at here. The par fives are average about 550, so they're fairly long, but they're scoreable. They're birdieable. Par fours are pretty short on average at 431, nothing too crazy. There's, I think 470 is the longest par four, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, scoreable par fours, and then you got the par threes are a little long at 217. So difficult par threes. You got water, tons of bunkers. I think water's in play at 9 holes, 85 bunkers, par 72, almost 7,400 yards. And then you get about 3-inch Bermuda rough, so thick rough. Got to keep it in the fairway. And then, of course, Bermuda putting and par 3 scoring. And that's actually what we're going to, before I get into the build, let's move over to the screen and let's talk a little bit about stats and what the easiest way to find what to look for. I figured I use this DataGolf, datagolf.org. You can do everything on this site, basically. Course fit tool, course history tool. Obviously, there's premium, there's projections, and the optimizer. It's all premium, but some of the free stuff on here is worth good. What you want to do is you're going to scroll down to the historical event data. This is how I start my research pretty much every week with Smart Golf Bet sheets. I like to break them things down to look at recent form and course history, of course, but you always want to look back at last year. Molinari won. I watched most of it. I remember him hitting ridiculous putts on Sunday to win it. Keith Mitchell was on his hot streak last year, but yeah, he missed the cut last week. But thankfully I didn't play him. I was saying pivot to Harry Higgs, who wasn't bad until Sunday. I know Higgs was decent there for a few days, but he was like Horschel and Fleetwood on Sunday for the most part. But yeah, so we're on the historical. You go on the historical event page here. Let me bring up the full screen so you can see this. Over here in the color coded here, you'll see the Bay Hill event average. This first is putting, strokes gained putting. Usually going to be 30% or more, obviously, and more than half the courses. But this shows here around the green and off the tee are kind of nowhere near as important as approaches. So when you're seeing people making models and stuff like that for stats, this is probably usually where they're starting. You can see the course history here below, who's been really good and who's been really bad. I don't know why my thing won't scroll. I think sometimes it is this. Yeah, so we know that Rory and Fleetwood have both, they're plus 2.5 strokes here, 2.25. Rory's almost 3. But this course history index, actually, top 25. You got Stenson, Bryson, Rose, all these guys are in the field. Guys who haven't played good here. Webb's not here. Sabatini's a fade this week, it looks like. This is a good way to eliminate some players right away. So, yeah, most of those names are usually not going to be anybody you'd play anyway. So, all right. Now that we got the little lesson in, let's get rid of this here. We're going to get me back. Let's pull up the old DraftKings here. And let's get started. Here we go. We don't need definitely don't need that one. We don't need me in here at all again. Let's just continue. So here we go. Moving along. Obviously, okay, so we got 10K range. We got 5 guys up in here. Let's start at the top. Rory. I love me some Rory. If you're playing a cash lineup, I think you have to start with Rory. There's so much value at the bottom. There's guys that are under 7K that are worth a roster spot this week. Even in cash games, in my opinion, there's just some really, really good value of guys who should be around all weekend. So I'm going to start my cash lineup with Rory this week. But I think he's going to be pretty popular with the value. So when we do my little lineup here, our little GPP lineup, I'm going to fade him, but don't expect to see that in my main lineup this week. I'm probably going to have Rory in my main lineup, but got to mix it up a little bit. So moving along, Fleetwood, I can't argue playing him. 11K is a little too much. It's like I said on the stream last week. We know he'll be there, but he won't win. And he had 1-shot lead going into Sunday, and he blew it. So I'm not going to say he's a bad play, but he's just a fade for me. I think Matsuyama, Hideki moving down here is going to be a popular cash pivot away from Rory. My humble opinion is don't do it. Hideki has been playing better. He's coming off a back-to-back a 6th and a 5th. He's basically got 4 top 20s in his last 5, so he's definitely in good form. The last 3 years here, he finished 33rd last year, and that was his best finish here at Bay Hill over his last few years. So I like the form, but I think I'm out on Hideki this week as well. Bryson is interesting. I think he's a great GPP play. He's been playing great as well. He comes in, I think he finished second here. Let's pull that up real quick. Yeah, he was second here 2 years ago and 46th last year, but 3 top 10s in his last 4. Second in his last action, which was in Mexico. Solo second, shot a fire to 63 there. Final round 65. I like that. He's coming in with 265 or better rounds in his last tournament. So I like that. He's a good GPP play for sure. But for me in this range, I'm really liking Xander this week. I was on him before. He's not going to grade out well. He hasn't been playing that great for his standards, I guess. That second was already over two months ago when he grabbed a second place. Then he missed a cut, but he's ripped off 3 top 25s, 23rd or better in his last 3. And believe it or not, this is his debut at Bay Hill, and I think that kind of favors him. He can play to the course, so I like Xander. So I'm going to start the GPP lineup with Xander this week, and that wraps up the upper tier. So let's move on down right away. This is the shortest podcast in golf, and that's my goal in PGA DFS anyway. I'm trying to keep this thing 20 minutes, short and sweet. Give you kind of my pool, my player pool of 16 to 20 guys, and then I wrap up my content with my core four for our subs at Draft Manager. So get in there too. But yeah, moving on down. Scott and M Sungjae of course I missed his win. I've been a Sungjae M supporter, and I've been writing him up for 2 years. And I skipped it last week because he was 34th, tied for 29th. He was just kind of plodding along. And then he had a tournament where he could go out and shoot 266s and finish 6 under, and it was good enough to win. I mean, I'm super happy for him, but I didn't get any of it. So I don't mind going right back. With the way he played, and he's just nails, and the kid, there's no fear, there's no nerves. Incredible ball striker. I think he fits the mold for what I want to do for GPP. And I don't know how popular he's going to be. There's always that win hangover, so I think his ownership might be a little lower, up at 95, but we'll see. We're going to play him in this GPP lineup. I will play this lineup. It's just not going to be my main lineup. Just want to stress that. Adam Scott, he probably will be in my main lineup. He was second in his last event. I'm sorry, nope. He was a winner 3 weeks ago and followed that up with the 26th. He finished third here in 2014, and he was 41st 2 years ago and didn't play last year. But he is just underpriced at 9,700 and consistent cut maker, will be in contention. Yeah, I like Scott a lot for cash games. He did win on the Australian PGA. I knew I was forgetting something, but yeah, so technically he did have back-to-back wins not that long ago. Well, they were spread out though, so good point. But I like Adam Scott here. Moving on down, in the next tier here, I like no Reed for me, no Fowler. That's it for me in this tier. I'm not going to play Brooks. I don't even think I'll play him in a major this year. The knee's bad or something. Rose is lost. I can't play Day right now, so let's just move right down into the 8K down, 8,900 and down, starting with Finau. Finau's going to be a pass for me. Oh, I talked about Leishman and On way too early. There we go. So Finau, Stenson, pass. Finau's going to get some love, but I don't need to talk about him. I'm not playing him. Benyon is going to be popular, and he's great form. We know that. He's been putting better. He was 4th last week. Back-to-back, well, he finished 14th here 2 years ago and 10th last year. So he's been good at Bay Hill. He's going to be popular. And then Leishman, too, is kind of the good pivot. He's 100 cheaper. He won here as well 3 years ago and followed that up with the 7th and was 23rd last year. He's coming off back-to-back kind of mediocre finishes, so that might keep his popularity down a little bit, but he did win right before that, too, just 6 weeks ago. So I'm guessing Leishman and On both should be 15 to 20%, somewhere in there, maybe 10 to 15, but definitely owned. Let's bump down to Morikawa. I just don't like 8,400. I guess is fair because he's not having great finishes, but I'm going to plug him in this lineup here for sure. He did play here 2 years ago when he was 21 as an amateur and barely made the cut and was 64th, but in his game's kind of trending the wrong way. Every finish is going backwards, but he still hasn't missed a cut. And he's got the game. He's got the strike. We know he's got the game. It's just going to be a matter of putting it all together for Morikawa. So I like him. No Fitzpatrick, no Bubba. I thought about Westwood. I think he's an okay GPP, but I'll pass. I think down in this Horschel, oh boy, not you, Horschel. Not after what you did to me last week. Down in this range, I think the play is Hatton. The guy's a phenomenal putter. We know I like that. One of the better putters in the world. Look at this. Real good lately. I mean, it's spread out going back to the CJ Cup, but 6th, 14th, and 6th. He had a good finish here too, not that long ago. 3 years ago at Bay Hill, he finished 4th, tied for 4th, and was 29th last year. So I love me some Hatton. He doesn't fit in this build, but I love me some Hatton. Very well could be a core play at 8,100, but there's a lot to like here. And if you look at Hovland at 100 cheaper, you just throw last week's missed cuts out the window. It was a tough course, tough conditions. I'm not putting much into his 77 after his win, at Puerto Rico when he shot 20 under. But I think Hovland's going to be really popular now at 8K, and I think Hatton's the play in this range. But for this build, neither of them work. So let's move along to 7,900. Max Homa has been really hot, but I can't pay 7,900 for him. He's made a bunch of cuts in a row, and I think four top 20s in a row. But I just can't. I can't do it. For me, no Phil, no Kisner, and then we get into Aby Hanser. I love Hanser anytime he's under 8K. He's usually right around here. Sometimes he's 81, 82. I mean, just look at that. Second place, tied for 6th, tied for 43rd, tied for 12th at Mexico in his last action. Yeah, Hanser, pretty sure he hasn't been good here. Might only played once and missed a cut. Yep, missed cut last year in his first appearance. So, but that doesn't bother me really either with his recent run here. I like Hanser enough to put him in this lineup, actually. Let's do that. So we got 2 spots left, 7,150. Wyndham Clark, he was in that lineup last week. I talked about how I love him, how I love good putters. From what I was watching, he was dropping. I saw him drop about a 28-footer at one point. And, I mean, he's ended up tying for 11th. So, but the thing is, he got the price bump now. So, he's not 71, 7,200 anymore. He's 77, and that kind of puts him on a play for me. Same with Poston. Poston played well last week too. Scheffler, I feel the same about. Yeah, they've all been playing good, but not 76K and above good, in my opinion. So actually down here, I like Rafa. He's just so hit or miss. He's definitely not a cash play, but he could pop in GPPs. He's got back-to-back, tied 17th, tied 16th, so pretty good form coming in. And he had a 3rd place here in his debut last year. So, yeah, 35-year-old, tied for 3rd last year. So, what did he shoot? 9 under, 3 shots back of Molinari. So, yeah, I like some Rafa, but he ain't going to fit in this lineup. Not right now. Let me update my notes. But, yeah, moving down, we got then my next play I think would be Neiman. Hasn't been playing good, but it's hard not to like. His game, missed 2 cuts. I mean, nobody's going to be on him. They shouldn't be. Despite he's only shot 1 round in the 60s in his last, holy cow, 10 rounds. So it's really, really kind of it's a GPP play, but he's gonna grade out, pretty well in the models. So I think Nieman's in play. Definitely a good pivot, the GPP play. I think I'm gonna stick him in this lineup here because I'm gonna play him this week. I think he 46 last year. Not as good as I thought, but not bad. We got 6,800 left, and I know right where I'm going with that. But moving along, Harris English still in play. I don't know. The guy just keeps making cuts and getting near the top 10. So McNeely is another guy who's been all right. I don't like 7,400 for him, though. Down in this range, if I was going down here, Scott Piercy's been ripping off. What has he got? 3 straight top 20s. But he hasn't been good here either. I don't think his history is great. Miscut 54th the year after, but 3 straight. He was 6th, then 18th and 17th. So he's coming in good form. Piercy's probably be a pretty popular cash play, I think. And then moving on down, took a good look at Howell, but the form isn't good. He's been really good here at Bay Hill, but the form isn't good. Can't touch Molinari. I know he won last year, but he's just playing terrible this year. Wolf isn't right now either. I can't play Wolf. A lot of guys are going to like Griot again. He's going to come up in the model, but for me, it's the same story. I like Ortiz and I like Gooch down here in this range. Ortiz 3 top 10s, Gooch 2 top 10s. He's made a bunch of cuts in a row. Ortiz, where's he at? He's been good here too. 29th last year, and 3 straight top 25s pretty much. 26, 25, 16th in his last 3. So I love the value on Ortiz at 7,100, and then Gooch again, another cut maker. Let's keep it moving. Connors is interesting, but he's not playing great. I love Munoz this week. Under 7K Munoz is pretty crazy, if you ask me. This will be his debut here as well. But he's coming off of 14th, tied for 14th in his last action. So I like Munoz. He's probably my top play in this range. In that just getting under the 6,900. And then moving down, I do like Sung Kang, but there's a lot to like in this range. Matt Wallace, and then you got Lanto. Lanto is back in our lives. He's been playing better after he missed those 2 missed cuts. It was back-to-back missed cuts. He followed that up with the 9th, and then it was 37th and 29th. This will be his debut here. But I think with making the weekend 3 in a row now, I think he's back. Remember, Sabatini's a fade here. I wouldn't go on Higgs. If you want some more names down here, Adam Long looks decent. Patrick Rogers is hot. He's made a bunch of cuts in a row. I think he's actually going to be a cash play. He's made 3 in a row, tied for 21st last week. And he was top 5 or ranked way up there in approach last week at the Honda. So the right part of his game kind of fits this course. So as far as value goes, I like Patrick Rogers is probably my favorite play under 6,500 or at 66 in this range. No Jazz for me. Mitchell's interesting, but I can't do it. Mark Hubbard's generating some buzz. The week I recommended him, he shot 15 over par, so I don't think I can do that to you guys again. Doc Redman is getting looks down here. But no, I wouldn't go. I don't see any reason to go any lower. But I think it's Xander week for the most part. I love Rory. He could be right there. Xander and Bryson are my next picks. I don't think Sungjae has much of a hangover. I like Morikawa and Answer. Ben Leishman. Hatton, definitely quite a bit. Adam Scott. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Getting down in the lower range. You got 3 guys in Lonto Griffin, Munoz, Patrick Rogers, and then you got Gooch at 7K and Ortiz at 7,100. You got 5 guys right there. That'll all help you kind of build what you need there. So what you need to make a good GPP lineup. So that's it. I think I'm at 20 minutes. Yeah, I went to 25. So we're going to stop right there. Don't forget to sign up. We still got NBA going. NHL's popping with the Matt Vecchio, Matt Rogers. They're pumping out good work, good content every day. We got NHL. We got Matt Vecchio's doing the NASCAR now. Yeah, I think we're doing well. So join us, draftmanager.com. That's it. I'm out. Good luck this week and sign up and get that core 4. See you.